This I believe. I was a generic doctor. After a one-year rotating internship, I started solo practice as a general practitioner. Not that I was specially trained for that role, it just happened. It was what I could do. I loved the practice of medicine, and I decided that my vocational goal was to serve my chosen profession, medicine. Then I met Pesky. One of my early patients was a young woman whom I will call Gertrude, with many problems. She was a country woman, uneducated, crude in her language, outspoken, and simple in many ways. Her husband had died, leaving her with a 5-year-old daughter and no money. They were living with another man and seemed to have a good relationship with him. Gertrude had an inexhaustible list of physical symptoms, but each of them disappeared, or at least subsided, after I examined her and gave her reassurance. I saw her infrequently, but know that she would have come much more often if she were able to manage the $2 office fee. So between visits, she called almost daily to talk to one of us, our office nurse, my wife, or me. She always began the call with, "This is Pesky again." As I learned to know her, I realized that her symptoms were due to an overwhelming sense of guilt. She was not a religious woman, but she had strong beliefs in what was right and what was wrong. And living as she did, unmarried, she considered to be wrong. I asked the obvious question, and her man was quite willing to get married. But Gertrude said that she could not afford to get married because they would lose her daughter's Social Security payments. One day, I confronted her again with the issue and urged her to get married anyway. She finally said, "Yes, but you have to make the arrangements." "Oh, no," said I. "See the justice of the peace." "No way," said she. "Marriage is much too important. It must be in church." "I don't know no church, so you make the arrangements." So I did. They were married by our Episcopal priest, with my wife and I as witnesses, and our daughter playing the organ. Thankfully, Gertrude's symptoms nearly disappeared. With her, I learned that clinical problems do not always have clinical solutions. I also learned that getting to know a person or a family is essential to understand their problems, and that mutual understanding makes patients more likely to follow the advice I offered. I also learned that understanding meant that I can learn to love all of my patients, even those unlovable ones. I also learned that this kind of practice brought me great joy. I was serving people I cared about and knew that I was providing the very best possible care for each one. I didn't have a name for this kind of practice, but it was the very essence of family medicine. My ultimate goal really is not just to serve my profession, but even more than that, to serve my patients in every way that I can. I believe family practice makes this possible. Thank you, Pesky.